Hi everybody, I'm back again for a new set of videos. So today we're going to be going over cleaning data with Microsoft Excel. The first function we're going to be dealing with is functions that help us join words or merge words or concatenate words. We're going to be going through ampersand, concat, and text join. Across this series, we'll explore more functions that help us do additional work in manipulating and cleaning data with Microsoft Excel, but this is where we start. Over to my screen here, we have a data set, which is quite common. It's the AdventureWorks database back file. I have restored it into my Microsoft SQL Server and then exported just the persons table, which is what we have here. First of all, going to try to join the first name, middle name, last name using the ampersand. And then we'll do the same with the concat and we would create dummy addresses for each person here using the text join function. So let's get into it. But before we do, we can see we have a lot of null values here in the middle name. That's because some people don't have middle names or they don't care to provide the middle names for forms. So we're going to select all, Control A to select all, and then we're going to do a find and replace, right? Good. So we have this pop-up here, and what we want to replace is null with blank. So we're just going to leave these settings as it is. When we do a replace all, we can see that it has done 1,581 replacements, and we say okay to that and close. All the null values we previously have been replaced with a blank space. So we click this to go out of it. This is our first step in cleaning our data. We don't want somebody's name to be Roberto Null Tamburello. We want his name to just be Roberto Tamburello. So we go to the first box here and say equal to. This ampersand doesn't work like the regular functions where you put the function name and then you open a bracket and fill in the values or the ranges that you want. It works almost like a formula, like you would be adding things, but instead you're using ampersand. So we're going to click on the first range that we want, which is D2, and then we do an ampersand. Because we don't want Ken De Sanchez to be one word, we have to put space in between. So we put a quotation, put a space, and then close that quotation. We do that again for the J, E2, another ampersand, and then next space. Next, another ampersand and last name. And then that's it. We hit our enter and we can see Ken J. Sanchez is concatenated. We go over here, hover, and we see our cursor. Double tap, and it has populated all the full names for everybody in this data set. Next, we go on to concatenate. Start with equal, and then we write concat. We have two options here, concat and concatenate. Concatenate is an older version of concat, which has been kept on by Microsoft Excel for compatibility reasons. So we're going to be using the concat since it's the newer version. So it's prompting us to put in our first text, which is D2, which is Ken. And then we put our comma. Similar to using the ampersand, we want a space. So we're going to put in a quotation with a space in it and then hit comma. That is our text 2. So our text 3 will be the middle name. And then we put a comma and we give another space and another comma and last name. close our bracket and hit enter. You can see that we formed the exact same thing we had in column I. Hover over here, we see our crosshair, double tap, and our values have been filled in as well. So now over to the last one, which is text join. Text join combines text from multiple ranges or strings and includes a delimiter and ignore blank argument. So we're going to see what that does. So we say equal to and say text, and we can see text join over here. So we scroll to text join and we see the definition is concatenates a list or string of text using a delimiter. A delimiter is a character that separates words or strings or values. So in comma separated value files, you have commas separating the values. If I have write the normal way we write, I would say Toyin is a dash dash. I would use spaces to delimit those words. So that would be a normal space delimiter sentence. So for here, we want our delimiter to be at because we want to join the first name at the company.com. So we're going to click on text join, select our delimiter as at, and hit comma. The next thing it is prompting us to fill in is ignore empty. Ignore empty is the argument that says whether we ignore spaces or not. So for Ken J. Sanchez, he has filled in his middle name. But in the case of Roberto, there isn't a middle name. So do we want Roberto, space, another space, Tamburello, or we just want Roberto, space, Tamburello? Do we want to ignore a blank space or we want to keep that space as a character in itself? That's what the ignore empty does. And in this case, we want to ignore those empty cells because if you don't fill in the middle name, we want to assume you don't have one. So we're going to say ignore empty cells and then comma. So we then click on what we want to join. So the first thing we want to join is first name and then comma, and then we want to put company.com. So we're going to add that as a string on its own and say company.com. Close this and then close the bracket and then we hit enter. We can see that the dummy email for the first person here has been filled out. It says ken@company.com. Go over here and double tap. It has filled in the values, so everyone now has an email address. Great. So that's really how to join words or concatenate words using ampersand, concat, text join. I would say the complexity grows from ampersand all the way to using text join. You can use whatever you think is fitting for the data set you're working with and so on. Please let me know if you have any questions. Do like, subscribe, share with your friends. Thank you very much for listening.